amazing places. It's that doubt that can get you in trouble. So always listen to your internal gut, I guess we call it, gut instinct. And this was a big one for me to learn. Be realistic about what you have the power to change. At the situation I was in, could I really change the culture of that new organization? No. I could try. I probably made some changes, but to get it where it would be comfortable for me, that wasn't going to happen. So I had to face that fact. And also, how do you want to use your time and energy? Do you want it to be in something that's constructive and positive, or does it want to be a battle all the time? Battles are fun. I don't mind an occasional battle every now and then. I love to win. But if it's just going to become that day after day, it takes all the fun out of it. And this one, ask yourself some really hard questions. Why are you doing what you're doing, and who am I doing it for? I can't tell you the number of people that I've worked with in hotels who were there because someone else told them they'd be good at it, or their parents told them they had to go get a job. It wasn't their passion. They didn't want it. They were doing it for somebody else. That's where people can run into problems. They get bored. They're not really doing what they want to do. They're not getting any excitement out of it. It becomes a job. So those are two critical questions to ask yourself. So, where was I? Back to my life with Coast Hotels. So I'd met Franco, I'd met Craig, now had this position as Director of Operations. Did that for a couple of years. But I am competitive. I do like to do new things. I like to experience things. And that became evident to both of them, that I needed some more challenges. And that was right around the time that Coast Hotels started to grow as well, started to expand. I think you had Mark Hope here a little while ago, and he was talking about brand development. He's the man who's responsible for that growth, so it's his fault, more or less. So they decided that they were going to put me in the position of General Manager Special Projects, which meant that I got to go out to all the different hotels. They needed an acting general manager, they needed an opening general manager. I would do that along with my regular duties at the Coast Plaza. So I'm very lucky I have a really good team at the Coast Plaza, because otherwise I would not have been able to do that. So, recovered my passion. There's my home. That's the Coast Plaza. 269 rooms, 22,000 square feet of meeting space, 2 restaurants, 4 kitchens. It's a lot of fun. And then over the next couple of years, oh, wait a minute, maybe I've got some more tips for you. Oh, yeah. This is a good one to remember. Titles of a position are not always as important as the experience the position may bring you. That goes back to when I was having that internal battle about general manager to director of operations. If I had not made that move, I would not have become even better at what I did. Because with the company I'm with now, they're very good at operations. Our operations manual, we call the Bible. It's electronic now, but when I started, it was this thing about this big that had everything to do with how we do things in Coast Hotels. So that in itself, even though the title may have been a step sideways or a step back, great education. And remember, as you go out there in the job market, that hiring employees is a significant investment for any company. With the hiring of a new employee, there are associated costs. So what you want to do is you want to work with an employer that wants to make this a win-win situation. They want the right person for the job, but they also want to make sure that it's right for you. Because if it's not a win-win, and you're just taking it because you just need a job, it will probably not work. So it's a good time that you can start talking to the employer. And when you get into that interview situation, it should be a two-way conversation if you're with a good employer. So make sure you use that interview opportunity, not just to sell yourself, but also to understand really what does that position entail and what does the employer expect. Because really being clear about that as well can make sure that you're successful in the position. You have to remember in hotels, we've got titles for everything. I don't know why it came to that, but general manager position in one hotel is not the same as in another. Executive housekeeper is not the same one to another. So you really have to be clear about what is that position in that particular hotel. And then that way you don't make any mistakes, or you don't go in with some vision of what a job is and then you're disappointed. And always do your homework on the company. From someone who sits on the side of interviewing right now, when I have people come in and they don't know about Coast Hotels, we're all over the internet. It's not hard to find out. Come and tell me what you know about Coast Hotels. And we really want to know why you want to work with Coast. And that whole answer about, I love working with people. Well, yeah, me too, when they're nice and they're pleasant and, you know, it's a great day. But a lot of what we do is when you have that guest who's come in from a horrible trip, and you've got to calm them down and make sure that their stay is everything it should be. So it's not about dealing all those warm and fuzzy things all the time. It's about making sure that you can help people overcome what they see as a challenge in their day, and then making them see that you've helped them that way, and that builds loyalty for the hotel. So it's a lot more than liking people. So here's some of the positions I've done with Coast as Special Projects General Manager. This is Coast Inn of the North up in Prince George, BC. Beautiful property. It's like a mini Coast Plaza. The employees who work there are great. They're just really enthusiastic about what they do. Couple of restaurants there. Two of the most popular restaurants in Prince George are located in that hotel. There's Winston's Dining Room, and they specialize in tableside service, so crepe Suzettes and all of that fancy stuff. And they also have Shogun, which is a Japanese Japan-style restaurant. I actually gained a lot of weight when I worked in this hotel. And I worked there twice, so gained weight twice. Opening GM for Coast Sundance Lodge. That is so pretty. It's a 100-room property up in Sun Peaks, BC. The ski run that you can see there, not covered in snow yet, is actually the main run up in the resort. And for anyone staying in our hotel, you're actually in the position where you can ski in and ski out. So it's the only hotel in the resort that has that attached to it. So pretty cool little place. And then acting GM with the Coast Tawasin Inn in Delta. That's the one when you take the ferry and you get off into Tawasin. It's just about 7 minutes from the ferry terminal. This hotel is the one that taught me an awful lot about the difference between a hotel that works to build a group base as far out as possible versus a hotel that relies on walk-in business. I would have a heart attack every morning because we'd be sitting at 20 or 25%, and I'd think, oh, how am I going to explain this? And then it would fill. It was like magic. So it was a good lesson in understanding your market and how it works. So a good lesson with that one. And I figured it wouldn't be right if I didn't pay a little tribute to Scott Quinney, who's our general manager over here at the Coast Harbor side. He's got one of our prettiest properties, and it is home to the Blue Crab restaurant, multiple award winner. So yeah, it's pretty good to have them in the family. So, what else? Oh, well, now we get to a really interesting part of Coast Hotels and Resorts history, because Franco Anglesio retired from the presidency, and in came this new animal, Mr. Graham Barrett. Well, I'll tell you, Franco was